Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm A.J. O'Neill, and we are. Whoa, what's this doing here? Let's get that out of the way. We are continuing on with some real work that I got to do, where I've got the stuff I can show you over here in this screen that you can see, and the stuff that I can't show you over here in this screen that you can't see. Actually, most of the stuff you can see now because the most of the hard-coded tokens and the nasty bits I've already gotten rid of. But what we're going to do is continue going through some code that I've been working through where I am separating some areas in the code where we have guest user logic and real user logic that are kind of intertwined and just trying to move the gatekeeper bits up towards the routing and make it different down where things actually make it more different down where things actually get handled. So we increase the the how to say, like, security resilience, just a better architecture for the security of application, and then also doing some refactoring along the way, just cleaning things up. So with that said, I will go ahead and see if I can figure out where I was. Also, just getting started, remember that if you like the things you like, you get more of what you like. So if at any point you decide, hey, this is kind of cool, you learned something, whatever, feel free to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Every thumb helps. And also, I do have the comments open on. Well, let me get them open on Twitch here. Yep, we got the comments open up on Twitch and on YouTube. So feel free to comment away. All right, with that all said, let me do a little git log here and see where I was at last. Okay. So let me remember. The last thing I was doing, so I was looking for the unlisted resources, which are basically where guests come. I'd gone through flat feature. I need to review that again, but I want to move on first. And I'd gone through storage, but I haven't yet gone through box. So that's probably what I need to do. I'm just going to go into this file here and look for where box is. Okay, and it's just /box from where this file is. So I'll just go ahead and go in here. Let me go ahead and check this out first. I think I already looked in here recently, but I'm just going to check it out first on my other screen and make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be seen by prying eyes. I don't think there is. Let's see, how long is this? 300 lines long, 370 lines long, about as long as the last one. And I'm pretty sure, let's see, I don't see any tokens or IDs or anything floating out in the wild here. Yeah, looks kosher. So I'll go ahead and close that out here and open it back up over here. Now, the piece that I need to look for is where there is a rec.account ID. So we found one here. Let's see, rget file by ID. Let me find out where that is. rget file by file ID. Okay, that is indeed one of the unlisted functions. So what I'm going to do is preemptively, because I'm not positive I need this yet, but I think I probably will. Sometimes prettier, sometimes. I think I'm probably going to need this to be two functions. This currently is used by guests, but it is expected that it could be used also by users. I need to understand better. Let me take a look again. Where that is, box, file, file ID. Yeah. I'm just gonna assume that we want both versions of this function, that we want the one for logged in users and the one for guests. And there's not really too much difference here. We're just going to take, I know that account ID is going to need to go in, and I want to see what else needs to go in. So we got rec.form, rec.params, rec.params, rec.form.account ID, rec.params file ID. Okay, so it looks like we need account ID and file ID to go into this thing. Oh, wait. Oh, that wasn't even... Okay, yeah. We don't have to worry about that on this one. Okay. So I'm just going to take out rec.form.accountID, replace that with account ID. It looks like we're going to need to do the same thing in that other place. And account ID. Well, I don't even think I need to do that. I don't think I even need to do that. Sorry, I'm slurring my words a little bit. It's late in the evening, you know. So we will just take this one. Okay, so that will be, okay, we'll do this one. And then this one will be for the guests. So basically the guest login is if they come to interact with a form on the site and they've been given a link, they've been shared a form to complete. That form is associated with an account. And I think, okay, file ID. That's the other thing we need. We also need file ID. So I'm just going to say rec.params.fileID. That should be, those two things I think are all we need. And again, the reason for doing this, separating it out, is so that we don't have the gatekeeper down here in the logic that's supposed to deal with finding the file. That's not where we want our gatekeeper logic to be. We want to have separate gatekeeper logic for things that we don't want to muddy the waters between what a guest user can do and what a logged in user can do. So things that they can both do equally, we define an entry point where one looks at the user account ID, the other looks at the guest ID, and this is just a clean separation between the two. Now it turns out that they pretty much can do the same thing, but this is, you know, a visual indicator that this, you know, if something changes and a user is allowed to do more than a guest can do, we want to use that. We want to move the user stuff away from the guest stuff. It's okay if we do a little bit of code duplication because the focus is on security and correctness, not on deduplicating code. Deduplicating code is a benefit of writing good, clean code, but it is not a goal. The goal is to write code that is correct. And oftentimes it is better to duplicate a little bit to write correct code. As the Go authors say, a little copying is better than a little dependency. I wholeheartedly believe that. Okay, what is all of this? This stuff is just so difficult to understand. Is that right? Is that what we want? Okay. What the heck? Yeah, we probably should find a way to... I don't remember off the top of my head what the... I think the native function for array for finding is find, if I'm not mistaken. If not find, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, let's just get rid of. People use Lodash. Don't use Lodash unless you have an actual reason to use Lodash. Don't use Lodash because what we need to do here is return whether there exists one of these or there doesn't. And there's no need to incorporate a Lodash dependency for that. I mean, like Lodash can be good if you need it, but don't use Lodash for functions that are natively available. Okay, ID. So if this or that. It's just like a little bit long to read. If EID. This is what I would do for this one, just to make it a little easier to read. It's not much easier to read, but it's a little easier to read. Prettier. There we go. Now, this is really tough. Okay, I'm just going to turn that into a let, so we're consistently using let here. I prefer var in a lot of ways, but we're already using let all over the place, and I just want to get away from const and just have let. Sacrifice var, that's fine. Okay, so we need to see if has something equals. Now, what do we know? Entries, sum, env, eid. I don't know what this does. Get file by file ID, file info, path collection, entries, sum, account, box, root folder ID, box public folder ID includes this ID. So I don't know what this is trying to communicate. Not authorized to view file. EID. What are we looking at here? We're looking to see if the account. What are we doing with the account here, though? Account, box root folder. Okay, so we want to see if this is account has access. I don't know if that does that mean that they have a copy of it. I don't know, but I think that's what we're trying to say here. So if account has access, but we're saying if not account has access, throw forbidden. Great. Otherwise, and I wonder if we could move something like this up a little bit. Probably not. That seems like it's just not, we couldn't make that generic in a meaningful way. Okay, and we don't need, oh, here's the interesting thing. Okay, so where do we get the stream? Let's see. What's a good way to go about this? I guess we just return the stream. Get file stream. And all of these, I mentioned this in the last bit, but all of these methods that start with R were automatically named by some code refactoring tool that I was using. Okay. So in this case, what we want is say let stream equals. We want the same thing as other case here. And then we're going to say stream.pipe res in both of these cases. And we're going to say get file stream by file ID. Okay. Yeah, we don't need that in either place. Let's see here. I know I can force Prettier to do this, but can I get it to do it willingly? Let's see, what can I get it to do willingly? Better than nothing. I don't know. All right, get file info by file ID. By the way, when I'm looking over here, I am checking for comments. So if you don't see me look over here for a bit, I try to do it every few minutes just to check and see. All right, more try catch. Again, there's no need to wrap errors. And we can get rid of this. Actually, I think I already have in my replace buffer the way to do that one. Yep. And that one. And then there we go. I've got my forbidden right there. There we are. Okay. Do. Bum. All right. Errors create forbidden, not authorized to view file. Good. So let's go ahead and finish this out. So we want to get file info by file ID too. Get file info. Yeah, so we're probably going to also want that one. I need to come down here and make sure that we have get guest file. And maybe I should rename these to our guest get rather than, I don't know. Okay. This one will be guest. And then we're going to take this. And what are we going to get as a result? Info. Let info equal account ID. What? File ID. Looks like what it's going to be. So it's going to be rec dot params dot file ID and rec dot user dot account ID or rec dot form dot account ID. What I might do in the future, because we are gonna eventually get rid of this rec.form because the way that authentication is taking place is going to get removed, but we got to do it incrementally. But I might replace that with rec.guest. Okay. Anything else that we need in here? Account ID, done. File ID, done. That was it. And then we just need to return info and res.result info in both cases there. And then again, let's go ahead and actually say whatever this thing is. Var, I think it's has file access. And then this should be .sum. Optimized for readability. And then not has file access, throw an error. And then this needs to be replaced with account ID and file ID. There we are. Now we're mixing underscore case and camel case because, well, that's just how JavaScript is. APIs, of course, should be snake case underscores, and JavaScript is just a hodgepodge of camel case and title case and abbreviated case, and so that's just the nature of the beast when you're dealing with JavaScript. Okay. So interesting that this one doesn't also check the publicness, because if we go back up here, I think this might be a bug. File info, path collection, entry sum, account, public. Now what's different between that and this? File, path collection, entry sum, account. Did we intend to exclude? I'll put that. To do. Did we intend to exclude the public folder? Okay. It's kind of weird. It's called mask. Essentially, it's just a pluck. Whatever. Let's see, what is this doing? Okay, so here, I actually do want to capture a message, but where does this come from? Where would that come from? Now, this code doesn't even work. We know that because the linter is telling us this is not defined, so it's not even possible to get there. So where would the message no permission come from? Because we want to catch that error, but we don't want to catch all of the errors. So I don't know if this even exists anymore, because I don't see a place. I see a database query, I see an account query that looks like a database query, database query, database query. I don't see anywhere where I think this no permission message could pop up. Okay, so storage, no permission. Let's see where that is. Yeah, I think this doesn't exist anymore. No permission. So remove file. So there's a function called remove file. Let's go check and see if that's even being used. Remove file. Await remove file. Okay. So that's where we need to capture this one right here. So .catch, good old await catch, and then oh wait, hold on. If it doesn't include, then we want to capture the error. Otherwise, we still want it. Okay, so no, it doesn't matter. We don't actually want to catch that, or do we? It seems like if you want to remove something that isn't there, no permission. It seems like, whatever. Yeah. Sure. Let's just be done with it. Yeah, we don't need any of that. Okay. And then, again, let's just, no arrow functions. And then we do need this feature thing. Question is, which one did we mean? Probably, I'm going to guess, if I were a betting man, that it's this. That's what I'm going to guess. Look over here. Oh, hello. Welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself, especially if you think that you'll be hanging around for a bit or asking questions. I can call you by your name, your country, some weird username, or I make a made-up sound that I use for your emoji. Some people have those emoticons that are all like, I'm not, yeah, whatever. Sorry, it's a little late. My energy level's a little low. Social security number equals 3, chosen by fair dice roll. Oh, magic numbers in the database. Okay, so did I go to the right place there? No. Yeah, okay, I did. That was the right place. Okay, so feature's going to be there. Where are we using crypto and why? We're not. Good, we can get rid of it. Okay. All this stuff. How's it going? I'm guessing from your name that, well, actually I don't know that I can guess anything from your name. But Gung. We're gonna call you Gung unless you find that offensive, in which case we'll just draw it out longer. Anyway, where are you from? What side of the world are you on? Probably not my side, considering that it's 1:30 a.m. where I am. Okay, what was I just doing? Oh, I was just reordering some of these things because I like to. This is one of the things I say in every video, but I like to have the pattern of environment variables / constants, built-ins, local libs, third-party libs, and then if I was gonna go whole hog on this, I'd alphabetize them as well, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I got that function done. I got this function. I think this function is done. I was down here. Is this where we're at? Yeah. I was just looking at this one. And, oh, I was fixing the fact that feature right here was not available. Okay. Alrighty. So that all looks good enough. Oh, and I do need to, let me make sure I find all the places where this is my primary goal. I'm refactoring along the way just to get more of the code up to snuff. But my primary goal here is going to be getting rid of all of the instances of rec.accountID. So let's see, where was I just at? Delete file by ID 113. So there's a couple there. Whatever function this is. Put file, yep. And then that's it. Okay, so I've got 2 more functions that I definitely have to modify. And then I'll probably want to look into this one and kind of see if I can clean up some of this logic. It looks like this catch. I don't know where this is supposed to go, but it probably should go somewhere. Huh. I'm guessing that it's going to be associated. Well, where could we possibly parse event details from IDs? I'm guessing that that's where the catch should go. And it looks like it will continue on. So yeah, I'll look at that function in a bit because that's going to take me a little bit of brain power to unpack. Greets from Germany. Yeah, I am on the West Coast. I am in Utah. Yeah, so I'll back up for a second just to kind of show you where I'm at. So I'm trying to, well, not trying. I am improving the security of our application. And we've had historically just all of the API routes, regardless of what type of authentication they require, have just been, put out there. And so a few months ago, I started this pattern, and now I'm enforcing it more strictly. But I started this pattern of getting anything that doesn't require authentication under public, anything that requires a custom authentication because it's a webhook under webhooks, anything that requires a guest user or a non-user to have some sort of, either to have known the URL or to have some sort of access code and a query parameter to go under the unlisted. If it's under account, then it has to have a token that is valid for a specific account. And then there's some stuff that is just generic to a user, that are things that a user could access without having signed into a particular account. So you can think of this like the YouTube, Facebook, Google. You log in with your ID, and then if you've got access to multiple accounts, like a work account, a personal account, whatever, you log into a specific account. Well, with this, the way that this application works is that it's people and businesses doing different interactions between different businesses. So a lot of it is around growth stage businesses, and they might be interacting with investors who also have a business. They might be interacting, and sometimes act on behalf of their business. So it's just a way to associate with people that may be associated with multiple businesses, because they may be an investor and they may also be a lawyer, and they may be a business owner and also be, anyway, just they can be multiple things. And entrepreneurs often have more than one business. So that's the kind of thing that's going on. Okay. Anyway, I will get back to, was it this file I was in? No, it was a box file. So, and then I'm also, along the way, I'm just getting rid of places where we're either losing or rethrowing errors, like right there. If you, what do you develop in? Are you a Node developer? Because if so, if you use Express, I know a lot of the more experienced developers are now using something that is more modern and better. But if you use Express because you have to, because you're working in legacy stuff, or because, you know, it just has the stuff you need in it, @root/async-router, that will allow you to actually handle errors correctly, and handle asynchronous code correctly. So I get rid of all of these catches that basically cause us to drop our error stack or rethrowing errors. Okay, that was just an unauthorized. That makes sense. That's in the right place. Oh, and I did go through some of these earlier. Okay, and this, let's just make that simpler. No need to nest all of that. All right. Okay, so let me go back up to where we have the rec dot account, which is what I'm separating. So historically, rec.account has represented either a guest user or a logged in user, and I am swapping it. So this is a very minor change, but I am swapping it so that we have distinct routes, so that it can fit the route pattern. So we have one for the guest, and we have another for the user. This way our gatekeeping can be at the root level of our routes, and all of this stuff can be down below it. So we have a smaller surface area for authentication problems. And I did actually find one fairly important security bug doing this already. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do, whoops, like this. But then this one is going to be rec.user, and this one is going to be rec.params, or is it rec.query? Rec.params. Okay, and then what are we actually getting out of this? Probably nothing. Just a message, yeah. Okay. So and then res.result, results our own thing. It just puts a little wrapper around it. So all of our success messages have a payload object that has, in this case, the message object, or whatever object is going back. And then all of our error messages and they also have a success true. And then all of our error messages do not have that success true. And I actually kind of want to drop the payload thing, because when I first came in, our errors were a complete mess. There was no rhyme or reason to them. They were just total hodgepodge from several developers and different development styles and years of work. And I got it to a place where we now have an error system. So I don't think we need to have the payload stuff anymore. React Native lately, also Node on the back end, use GraphQL. Yeah, connects. Cool. Cool. I am not really a fan of GraphQL because it seems like it makes things a lot more complex. I think if you're using, there are some modules in Node that make it pretty decent, I understand. But in large part, it's one of those things where on the conference slides, it sounds super awesome. And I do like the tooling. I love the autocomplete tooling that it gives you on the front end. But I feel like it just makes the back end a nightmare. Okay, what happened here? Where did that account go? All right, let me back up a bit. This is probably one of those things where the code didn't work before I touched it. I'm just going to back up, back up, back up, back up. Okay, not that. Okay, there. I've got no change. Oh, okay. No, this was there. And I guess I accidentally removed it a minute ago. Where did I remove it? I removed it right there. Okay, cool. Now I've got it in my copy paste buffer again. Let's put that right on back. Okay. And then we're going to get rid of rec.params. And let's see. Huh. Well, that seems weird. If it's less than 10, delete them. But what if it's not less than 10? Huh? To do. But what if it's more than 10? This is one of those things where a comment would have been really useful. Let me see if I can understand this. Features to delete just by looking at the code here. Yeah. So he says he tried it, but I'm kind of right, referring to GraphQL. Yeah, I think that, what is it? Postgres seems really cool, but one of the problems with Postgres is just that people that like it a little bit too much, and it starts to become the hammer for every nail, or everything starts to become a nail because it's such a great hammer. And Postgres is awesome. I recommend it to anybody and everybody. And it's got a lot of great features. The message queuing, it can just get you so far and do such a great job. But I've seen some things that are built on top of Postgres for GraphQL and for some other things where it seems like they're really just drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on connects versus just using raw SQL queries everywhere? Because my last database heavy project where it wasn't already established, like this is already established with objection, which is a layer on top of connects, which I kind of like it because it's very, very thin. It's mostly you're operating with JSON, and I really like that. But my problem with all ORMs is just you spend a lot of time learning the ORM, and then you end up having to raw query anyway. And then, I don't know, I kind of feel like just writing SQL queries, just raw SQL, is maybe the best thing to go, unless you're doing something like an open source project where you want people to be able to connect 10 different databases to it. But then you still have to have all those little niche things. Anyway, let me see if I can get back to this for just a second and just focus on this and stop distracting myself. Okay, so features to delete is going to be a query of these things. Delete file by file ID. And if it's less, if the thing is less than 10, then we're going to map to delete them. I just get a little confused by this. Like, why? Why would we want to delete it if it's less than 10? Why wouldn't we want to delete it if it's 100 or 1,000? You know, like, why do this? So I'm going to put like a second to do with a bunch of X's here so that I actually do come back to ask this question. And I'm even going to make a note of it or something, maybe. I'll save that for later. I'll note it in the PR. Because that just doesn't make sense to say. Okay, but anyway. Yeah, we get the message. Send it back. We have the person that's coming in through the form where they've got some, they're given a link with a URL. It takes them to a form. The form has some stuff in it. And let's see. Get panda request. What is this? Are we just, we're just rethrowing it. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, and that error, I've got errors.log for this reason. So I won't use console.log. We don't need that. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Interesting. Doing some custom e-tag stuff there. So I feel like, why are we doing this after the fact rather than before? Just because we don't need to? Set metadata. Authorized used. What? Authorized use. That doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? Okay. Let me break this one down. All right, so if this, then that, else this. So update.authorize authorized used equals, what the heck does that mean? Oh, I guess we can just place that in here. Sure. So there's our default value. And there's our supplement value. Oh, okay, it doesn't like that I did something bad. Oh, because the try is still up there. Let me go get rid of that try. I'm going to check comments. I actually have never worked with WordPress, so I don't know what that's like. And yeah, you would end up with a lot of wrapper functions, but you do anyway. And that's the thing, right? So, I mean, think about it. I mean, I guess it's also a good tool, kind of like, it's good to learn patterns in general. SQL is something that requires discipline. And if you don't have discipline, then I could see an ORM being really good. And I guess that's where it makes a lot of sense. It can help you to learn maybe some good patterns, but you know, ideally, these queries would have names. Like this, a lot of these things, as I've been going through here today, I don't know what the query is trying to accomplish. So there's a lot of stuff where I just don't, it needs a comment or something. And I mean, obviously that's its own problem in of itself, but what a lot of this stuff would end up being is probably pulled out into functions that were, okay, here's the, 100 utility things that we might want to do. And it would certainly read easier as SQL, but I don't know. I don't find objection that appalling. I find it far more palatable than most things that I've used. Okay, so where was I just at? We were trying to figure out what the heck this is all about. Set meta. What does set meta do? Set metadata comes from storage. Huh. Okay. Custom PDF file ID update. I am curious as to what that does. I'm going to go check that out real quick. API util storage. API util storage. Set metadata. Oh, this is just one of those cases where, let's see, why are we wrapping this? Oh, okay, this is just arbitrary metadata. Yeah. That's interesting. SA client is already enterprise. So, oh, this is probably to distinguish when it's setting the metadata to let us know if we're getting it from another account that it's part of the enterprise account system or whatever. Okay. All right, let me go back up to my original goal, account ID. All right, put files by ID. Did I get, I got that one all done? Okay, that one's all done. This one, was there anything in here about user stuff? Let's check rec. Nope. Just params, file ID. So I'm guessing get panda request by file ID. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is probably one of the ones where we probably should add some sort of authentication onto this. I think I know what this is. This is one of those ones where, yeah, I need to put a to-do in that. Let me go double check, because we might have the PandaDoc authentication over in there already. Okay, do we have PandaDoc? Where's our first instance of that? Right here? Yeah. Yeah, that's not sufficient. Well, and we got 2 values there. So it's not entirely guessable, but okay, let me put a little to do. Security. Read PandaDoc or verify PandaDoc signature. And this is another one that needs some special attention because that needs to get done this week. Which is going to be annoying because I think we have to go in. I don't think there's like a simple form that we can go in and just like provide the secret or check the secret. I think this is one of the ones where we had to register the webhook in a special way programmatically. Oh, hello and welcome. Also, I'm trying to set a timer to do this about every 30 minutes or so as people come and go. If you like what you like, you get more of what you like. So if you like what you see, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it, at least. And if you are interested in subscribing and watching me more, I do some other stuff too. So when you subscribe, click the bell for personalized notifications. If you don't want to get like game stuff or other nerdery, if you just want to hone in on the code, I always try to make sure the titles are clear so that the algorithms will filter it appropriately and all that. And also, since you just joined in, please feel free to introduce yourself. Tell me where you're from, what language you code in, what you're interested in learning about. I'd be happy to hear it. Okay, and I probably have only got about 30 more minutes left in me for tonight. So I'm going back up again to get focused on the task at hand. It's just some of these functions are big and I get lost in them. Okay, so we're going to make a guest version of this as well. And underscore that. It's going to take in what? What do we need for this one? We need file name, we need tag, we need path. So we need a number of things here. Yeah, a ton of stuff. So I think I will bring in the whole body because that's a lot. Oh, because this is from, is it because this is from PandaDoc? No, this is not. This is, okay. Got it. So there's the account ID in the one place it's needed. Second place it's needed. Oh, and we also need params? So we need a ton of stuff. Maybe I will just leave this. Hold on. Are we still in the same function here? Is this all part of? Yeah, it is. Dang. Okay. So yeah, maybe I will pass in rec here. Oh wow, and we're using form as well. Are we using all these things? Params, form, account ID. Okay, so if this one's optionally using form. Okay, got it. So form is, I mentioned this already a couple times, but for people that come in through a shared link. So I got a link, I need them to fill out some information, I share it with them. That information is in the form. Or, sorry, the link to the form has basically a guest ID. And that is what I am, that's part of what I'm making sure things are separated out between the guest users and the real users, so we don't have any possible place where a guest user could accidentally have access to arbitrary things, or a real user could have access to arbitrary things. Because there was one place, I fixed this, but there was one place where there was a bug where if you were a guest, you only got access to the things that you were allowed to get access to as a guest. But if you were a user, you ended up getting access to anything, whether or not you had access to it, because the logic was, I just got befuddled. Okay, and what was the end result of this one? What are we getting out of it at the end? Just like a message, like "Good job, you win." Yeah, success. Okay, so this is just a message at the end of it all. All right. Message equals, and this will be res dot result, our own little custom mabob here. Yeah. And rec dot user dot account ID, rec dot form dot account ID. Huzzah. Oh, and await, of course. Hopefully I did that in the other places. I'm pretty sure I did. Let me just go double check. Oh, no, I did not. Getting late. It's okay. I'm gonna whip commit this tonight, and then I'm gonna do the review of it, the line by line review in the morning. Okay, so nothing that I've done in this file, it looks like. Okay, no, the first one I got right. I guess the sleepiness factor hit in afterwards. Let's see. Working on your security PRs at 2 a.m. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so I think that's right. I'm actually going to pass in body and params separately. And the reason is that I just want to make sure that stuff doesn't get accidentally introduced in the future that relies on the authentication details that are in rec.auth or rec.user or rec.form. Oh, and I guess I need to pass in form as well. Yeah, so that's a little bit more than I want to pass in, but it's the right thing to do. It's morally responsible. Okay. All right, so let's see, what about this block here? Is this a big, huge whole thing, or what is that? Looks like it just might be the nature of the beast there. Has to be big. Okay, so here update is defined, there path is defined, name is file name. Okay. So what does it signify? If the name includes a bracket, I think that means that that's one of the template tokens. So what are we doing? File name, error message, document rename. Okay, this looks ugly. So here's what I'm going to do. And I find this to be quite desirable. Make an array, and then just join it at the end. We can even keep these things on here, but I don't want that going all over the place, just to try to keep it together. Instead, we'll make an array, and we'll join. And I'm not sure. I hope that the white space wasn't important on that. I'm going to go ahead and just put an empty string here at the end for funsies, because it certainly shouldn't hurt, because that's the way that it already was. But there we go. That at least is a little easier to read. Okay. And I'm guessing that these comments have been here forever, so I think I'm just going to delete them. They certainly don't hold any meaning to me. Probably not to anybody else at this point. Alrighty. Okay, so here we're doing a catch, but why are we doing a catch? Because we could just do, what does that do? That takes us back up. So yeah, this doesn't make any sense to put a catch there. This should be a wait catch, not try catch. All right, so we catch, and then we do that, and then we don't need this. And then I guess we just return name. Yeah, that should work. Much nicer. Okay, so is there any way... All right, so basically we want update name to equal name, and if update.name includes there we go. So it is possible. Oh, it doesn't like that usage. So let's see, what else can we do here? Is it okay if name is an empty string? What is update? Where's update used? Update.parent. Update. Send in the update. Okay, so what happens if it doesn't get a name? Is it going to get a name regardless? Update. Okay, where's update file? That's what I need to find. What does update file do if it has no name? API storage. Let's go back there and take a look. All right, it does get a name, and it definitely assumes that the name is a string. So this is kind of funny, you know, because it said if name, and there was no condition to handle the case where there wasn't a name. And then we come down here. Oh, wait, this is file.name.split. Okay, so if name, then use the name. Okay, but then down here, again, there's a name.split. Was this part of the same logic? I think it was. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it definitely expects the name to at least be an empty string, or it's going to fail. And it seems like, because it's checking if name, it wants it to be possible for the name to be falsy. So if we want it to be possible for the name to be falsy, then I think we need to do like that, because otherwise it's not possible for the name to be falsy. And then we can do this, and the linter doesn't complain, and we can do this, and we can do this, and we can do this. So we want it to get the new name if it can, otherwise it'll keep its current name. Got it. That looks good. And when I'm looking this way, FYI, I am checking comments, so feel free to comment, say hello. Despite my low energy at 2 a.m., I'm quite a chipper guy, except for when I'm angry because I'm reading code, and it's sad sometimes, a lot of times. All right, let me just go through and just do a bunch of replace on rec dot with nothingness. I did not want to start from the beginning, thank you. I actually was expecting to go from here to the end of this function, so let me be more specific with you. So rec dot and replace with nothing. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Ah, rec.userid. I'm going to skip that because we're going to come back to it. No, so yes, 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 yes. Okay. So that is fine. And wait, why would this be upset? Why would this be upset about params? Rec is not, no, I just got rid of rec. Save, there we go. Update yourself, update your buffers. And then there's this one. No bueno. All right, let's get rid of these things one at a time. Dnest, dnest, dnest. All right, we can get rid of this one. And then we can get rid of this one. And then we can do await sleep 1000. And then is sleep in here already? Yeah, sleep is here already, so we're good with that. So then we can get rid of this one. And this one. Okay, and there. Okay, so in this case, what we want to do, let's see, I forget what pattern I used for this and the other files. I think, well, this one's only executing if it actually gets to the point of success. So I want to do a return. So I guess the best thing to do here would be, oh, bless me. Put all of this stuff inside of there, and let's return here. So we have a return that happens, and let's go ahead and await this. We should switch this over to an errors.log. And the empty string, because there can be a prefix, but in this case I'm not putting a prefix, so I'm just making explicit that it's an empty string. Okay, and then here there should be an await promise.all. And I think we can get, that looks right? Okay, cool. All except for rec.userid. Okay, now rec.userid should only come from a user. So this is going to be user, and it's going to be optional. Okay. So that's one more thing to pass in. But it's not super important. So I'm just going to put it here at the end, null. And then this would be rec.user. And maybe we'll just do rec.user.userid, which I think would be, yeah, we'll just pass in, how about this? Pass an empty string, and then we'll pass in user ID. User ID. And then I'm just going to make a note here, optional. It's not required. Okay, let me see. We got any other questions? Nope. Just chugging along. Alrighty. So what are you up to right now? I mean, obviously you're watching or perhaps kind of half watching, listening while you're doing something else, but I guess, yeah, what's the something else? Or are you fully enthralled and engrossed with this excellent code session? All right. Let's go back up to the top, take it from the top one more time here. Okay, so we got the update. And this whole bit is basically update the name if it contains template tokens. That's this whole bit. And is this error message even used anywhere? All right. It is. It's just passed along. Okay. All right, leaving in tokens for now. And then yeah, I definitely want to say what document this was, don't I? Body tag, name.filename. Yeah, I think we do. I mean, I could be wrong here, but oops, I guess that should be a plus, sorry. Oh no, it could be, because this is console, yeah. All right, that can be a comma, whatever. So we definitely want to have the name. Is there anything else that's going to help us identify this? Update name, account transaction ID. And this can be de-escalated to warning because we're not throwing an error. We're losing the error. So I want to make sure that parse event details from IDs is actually, I mean, it is documented, whoops, as asynchronous. But I want to make sure this is actually asynchronous because it seems like it could also not be, in which case calling .catch on it won't have any effect. So let me just double check on that. It says it's async, good enough for me. That means that it's got a .catch on it. Sweet. Okay. All right, if body. Okay. That looks all right. So is there any place that's returned in here other than here? Let me look up. Nope. So it's going to get through all the way to the bottom, ideally, unless there's an error, which it doesn't look like there's much place for errors. Just database transactions mostly. By transactions, I mean queries, not transactions. Okay, I don't know what this all does. If I had a little more brain power, I could probably read through and figure it out, but lots of words about account and transaction and task. Okay, it looks like at the end of the day, its goal is to get, find the task ID. Okay, why do we pull this out? Account transaction ID. because we use it down here. Let's just maybe knock those off. No? There we go. So what happens if there is no transaction ID? It's possible there's no transaction ID or no task ID. So I guess that's optional. Count task ID. I wish there was a better way of indicating in the code, you know, aside from just comments, that something's optional like that. All right, well, I think my work here is pretty much done. I think I did what I came to do in that function and hopefully cleaned it up a little bit along the way. Now it is time to move down to the next function. All right, if not rec.form next. So what is check file then? It is a middleware, but what for? So currently that is not possible. But that's why we're implementing all of the guest stuff. Okay, check file. So currently it is not possible to get here without there being a form. But I guess this is indicative that in all of these places, which I think is what I've just been modifying, I think I modified all 4 of those, we want the ability to have that go either way. So good, I did the right thing. And then we can get rid of that additional middleware and we'll just have double the routes for those. We'll have one for account and one for guest. That looks right. Okay. All right, let me just check in here. Function underscore R. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've done all 4 of them, right? Let's make sure they are the same 4 that check file has. So get file by file ID, get file info by file ID, delete by file ID, put by file ID. Good. Those are exactly the right things. All right, so then I can also move check file. I can just await check file. We don't have res isn't actually getting used in here, is it? No, it is not. Next is being used, but we don't need next or res because we can just return, and we don't need this check of if not form because we know that we'll always have a form there. And if we have access, then we can just return. Yeah, great. Okay. So, where do we want that check file to go? Does it make sense? Is it common to all of the unlisted box routes? Unlisted box. Yes, it is. Okay. Then here we go. We should just use that in one place and not in all the places. Oh, whoops. This one is slightly different. This one is check file update. Well, let me check on that. Check file update. What's the difference here? So this one is if we are getting and this one is what? Okay, this is one deal with file ID, rec.params.file ID. Oops. Okay, so I should have. Okay, I think that one's fair to put in those. I'll just put this in those four directly, and that should work. Because this isn't about gatekeeping. Or is it? Has access. Rec. And there's access code, which should be form.access code. I'm pretty sure. Double check on that. Rec.access code. I thought we got rid of all those before. Okay. Rec.form.access code. Form. Let's see, rec.form. And let's go, let's see what I've got on my paste buffer. That one. That's fine. Checking over here. All right, rec.form is equal to form access code. Yeah. So rec.access code. Nowhere, right? Nowhere. Okay, good. Let's go back then to here. Params, form, body, body. So this one's looking for flat features with the file ID. And this one is looking for the access code for the form. Yeah, these seem pretty different. So the question is, do I want to revert that to what it was just a minute ago, where we just call next here. And have it in multiple places. I think that is the best course of action for right now. I don't think I actually want to abstract this any more than that. So let me do a git diff on this and start down at the bottom near where this check file is, and then work my, well, let me do a -w down at the bottom, and then just check and see. Okay, it looks like it's the same. Other than that, there's no, if there's not a form, just continue. So what is that doing then? I really want to know. because they must have a rec.form at that point. Okay, I'm going to go back to the routes and undo that one change that I did here. So I'm now of the opinion that, in fact, these do deserve to go here as they were. And this does not deserve to go there because I don't understand it well enough. I need to talk with my coworkers tomorrow and try to understand what the intention is with that. Okay, cool. Definitely want to get that in place. Okay. So those we're going to leave the same in that regard, but we're going to assume that there must be a form, otherwise they can't get to that point. All right. And let's see. What else have we got here? Something. Oh, hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm AJ O'Neill. What's your name? Also, I'm a little bit tired. I'm going to go to bed pretty soon here. It's 2 a.m. out on the west coast where I am. Well, I'm not on the coast. I'm in Utah, which is mountain time. But I do like the serenity of the evening. But I also am reaching my limit. I'm going through and just right now doing some refactoring. I'm trying to understand the existing code. And clean up on the security side. And on the errors side, making sure all the errors are caught. So right there, I'm just adding in. There's just a bunch of stuff that just, it's never caught. It should be caught. Okay, and then this one we can say capture. I think that's what it was. Let me go check and see webhook all. Let me make sure the signature is right on this. Source lib errors capture. Yeah. There we go. That's about right. And I don't know that I really care to log out webhook recorded. Do I? Yeah, sure. Let's keep it there. But this is box webhook in particular. So let's be more specific. There we go. Send status. How about res.end? And there doesn't need to be a return there. We're not returning the result of res.end. So no need to return. Alrighty. And we probably shouldn't be putting all that in the logs, but I probably still need it for now. Okay. So we got delete guest, and we got put guest. Guest. Whoops. r.star guest. Okay, rget guest, rget guest file, rget guest file info, delete guest file, put guest file. All right. And then one more time, do we have any rec account? Nope. Rec access? Nope. Rec user ID? Nope. Okay. So where do we have user ID? Right there. Good. Good, good, good. All right, well, let me see. I don't think there's too much more for me to bother myself with tonight. Oh, I do want to make sure. Oh no, is this already oh, it's already in a promise. Okay, good. So I don't need to await that. There we go. Res throw errors dot create unauthorized. That's a good one. Good. Res dot status. Nope. Good. Send status. You don't need to return res. There's nothing for it to do. Res dot send. Nope. Okay. Stat. Nope. Right head. Oh, and that one kind of makes sense because this one's big and hairy. And is doing stuff. All right, and in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and move this down, even though we could respond more quickly by not waiting for setting the metadata. I'm just I'm de-optimizing things to make them more clear. And to read better. Okay. Yep, I'm definitely at my limit. All right, I'm gonna do one last pass of this. My goal was to get rid of the rec dot account ID from the places where it was there. I've done that. Now I need to go into the API routes and I need to essentially copy these and then scope them to accounts. And let me make sure that, do we have auth in place yet? No, not at this point. So these will all need to go further down. Yeah, begin auth routes. I need to double check that. Let's see, account, storage. I don't know why storage would be there. Oh, because it's still part of account. All right, here we go. Box again. Okay, So it's when I get all of this refactor done, then it won't matter what order the routes go in. But for right now, it actually does matter that we don't have any account routes up above basically this line. So let me just check that real quick. Okay, so this one, I don't know what that means. But I'm going to go, let's say that we need to have that there. All right, and I'll need to go check. This is the last thing I need to do probably is go check get temp token. I need to go get box. Okay. So let's make sure that there is nothing that starts with a count here. Okay, this should not be here. We have get guest token, which is fine. Oops. So should I have storage down below? QRST. So it looks like we should also have storage here. All right, let's go back up to Auth. Oops. And okay, again, let's look for, do you have anything that starts with account? Oh, oops. Okay, good. Do we have anything that starts with user? Okay, good. So in general, everything above here should start either with unlisted or with webhooks or with public. That's what this area is for, and that is all it contains. Good. All right. And all right, so we can nix the bare accounts now. At least from those places. Because we have rec dot we have allowed features. There's none. Rec dot access code. There's none. Rec dot account ID. There's going to be a bunch, but not related to these routes. Which is good. And all right, so those 1, 2, 3, 4 things are, they appear to be completely handled. This is good. Okay. My energy level is pretty much near zero, sorry. And we're going to end the stream quite soon. I'm just going to do one last check of that file. It's not going to be very productive because I'm going to have to check it in the morning anyway. But I'm going to see, we don't have any more tries in here. We don't have any promise other than promise.all. We got a lot of promise.all though. Okay. What other? We don't have any rec dot account. We already know that because I just searched everything for that. We're not going to confuse a person's logged in ID with their query params ID. So if they have a token in their query params and they go to a form, the form will be acting on behalf of the token in the query params, not on behalf of what they're currently logged in as, which is good. Although we may want to indicate that. I don't know what the consequences of that are in either direction, but I am confident that this is the better direction, to not have them be, and to have it be deterministic and documented by the API, self-documented by the API. All right, well, let's see, that one we got a handle on. All right, looks good. I'm going to do a dumb thing, and I'm going to restart the dev server and see if it comes back up, or if it gets angry. Okay, looks like it came back up. Now, I'm going to see if I can still log in, which is another dumb idea. Because what if I can't log in? Then I'll be tempted to fix it, and I'm in no state to fix anything. I'm in a state to go to bed. Okay, I can log in. I can get into an account. So I'm at least getting that far. Let's see if the tests still pass. Oh, I'm on the wrong branch, aren't I? Let's see. I'm going to need to... Well, I can fix that real quick. Let's see if the tests in this branch pass. How very odd. Oh, because I updated box. Yeah, okay, let's do this then. npm install save at root file cookie store. We'll get that here too. Oh wait, that should be a save dev, not a save. Okay, then I'll go ahead and update that as well. I need to run npm install again. I also need to get rid of tough cookie, the old one. We probably use something else that depends on it. I should look for where we're requiring request, because I can drop that, and I think that requires the old version of tough cookie. Let's see. require request. Oh, good. Oh no, this one wants the stream stuff. Data stream. Make attachment from link. Where's that get used? In the cron query. Looks like the only place. Yeah. How would I just do that with normal request? Okay. Let's see where the next one is. Okay. Whew. Oh, I see. How about we clean that up a little bit? I don't want to play with that right now, actually. I'll put that on my to-do list. We shouldn't have every request library in here. I'll do that on my to-dos for tomorrow. To do. Okay, remove extraneous requests, tough cookie, etc. That brings in so many dependencies. Okay, npm audit. Yeah, so get rid of, and then I'm also going to put it on here to, can we upgrade or remove Mailgun.js? Patched in, oh, okay, so we're using what? Mailgun.js. Ooh, gross. Holy moly. Where are we using it? How many places do we have it in the code? Oh, thank goodness. It's only in like 2 places. So this should be super easy to fix. Yes. Okay. We will fix that tomorrow. Absolutely. All right, so did I get these tests to run? Yeah, they ran. Okay, cool. And the test pass. So the few tests that we have are passing. Oh, hello. Welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself. I am just about to wrap up here, but I'm AJ. I'm doing some code, you know. I'm just gonna take a look. This is gonna be a whip commit anyway, work in progress. I'm gonna review this in the morning when my eyes are fresh and everything, and I'm gonna get those other 2 features in, or get the npm audit stuff taken care of, rather. Okay, I'm gonna white space diff this so that I'm not getting junk. All right, that is different enough that it thinks that they're separate, which is fine. Okay, thinks that about a bit of things, which is okay. All right, so I do have the what's more than 10 and the webhooks. I need to get both those things fixed. I'm going to put that in my to-do. Okay. Well, I'm going to start wrapping this up. So, as I say, every half hour or so. If you like what you like, you get more of what you like. So please feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more of the live codes. If you do subscribe, hit the bell for personalized notifications so that you just get the code stuff and not necessarily the game stuff. I'm going to do a GameCube video this week too because I got a GameCube homebrew order that I need to fulfill, and I'm just going to show my process of going through that. And then, yeah, feel free to comment with any questions, things that you're interested in learning, any thoughts that you had. If there was anything that was particularly useful or you had a little aha moment, put a comment with a time code in the description if you come across. I don't even know what the words I'm saying are anymore. It's time for me to go to bed. All right, good enough for a whip commit. Commit whip, don't even remember. And my to-dos, I need to make sure that I also have what if less than 10, that was one of them. And then the other one was, let me see. Okay. What was the other one? That's, what if it's more than 10? And the other one was, oh, I remember what it was actually. The other one was webhooks. Check webhook signature. That was the other one. I need to do that. Okay, cool. Well, hope you enjoyed. You have the best night ever, or day ever, or morning ever, or whatever it is, wherever you are. And you can probably catch me again. I don't know about tomorrow. Might not catch me tomorrow. We'll see. But I'll be on Saturday, most likely. I've got a batch of work to do for one of my own projects, webinstall.dev. I just need to go. There's like 40 open issues, and none of them are major things. Just people have been having asked questions, or some minor additions to some of the readmes, stuff like that. So I've just kind of been putting it off because it's not critical. But now it's making my repository look sloppy. So I'm going to spend some time on that. And then, if nothing else, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm probably going to be doing like this again. Because now that the code is cleaned up enough to where I'm not too afraid. I mean, like there may be a couple of security vulnerabilities that get exposed as I'm working through things, but I'm going to be fixing them and PRing them, and so they're going to get fixed within a matter of hours to a couple of days. So I'm not too worried about that. And we've got all of the secrets are moved out of the code and into environment variables. So now I'm free to open up the code and hop around a little bit, whereas before I couldn't do that because you never knew when there was going to be a hard-coded passphrase or secret or something in there. Anyway, I'm out. You have a wonderful whatever it is you're having. To like, the more you like what you like, get you like, Adios.